So this is the new DJI Osmo Pocket 4, and I'll say it straight away, this is not a small incremental update over the Pocket 3. On paper, it might seem like it. Similar size, still a 1-inch sensor, but once you actually start shooting with it, especially in real-world conditions, you realize DJI focused heavily on fixing limitations rather than just adding new features. So in this video, I'll break down everything you need to know about the Osmo Pocket 4. Image quality, low light, slow motion, tracking, audio, usability, and along the way, I will also compare this to the Osmo Pocket 3 so you can decide for yourself whether it's worth upgrading or not. So first, let me show you what you get in the kit so you know what you're working with when it comes to the Osmo Pocket 4. You still get that carrying bag for the Osmo Pocket 4, but let me tell you, you won't be needing that, because if you get the creator combo, which is the best value deal, you get also this pouch. This is the carrying pouch for the Osmo Pocket 4 where everything you need fits perfectly, and this is so much lighter and easier to carry around than this. So first we have the Osmo Pocket 4, obviously. We still get that tripod mount. We have the tripod extension, but this time we don't have the battery extension, which you can mount here on the bottom to extend the battery life of the Osmo Pocket 4. You only have this to be able to mount the tripod. Besides that, first we have the wide angle lens. We also have a DJI Mic 3, still magnetic and everything, but this one is so much smaller than the DJI Mic 2, which was in the kit of the Pocket 3. But now we also get this. This is a magnetic light that attaches to the Osmo Pocket 4, and this is going to be one of the biggest game changers for this device this year. As you can see, we have those little connectors here, those pins on the light itself, which we can easily just snap on to the camera, and when we power it on, it will power on. Now the cool thing about this light is that it rotates and adjusts depending on your needs, so you can move it around, adjust the angle and point it towards whatever object you want to light. And you have 3 different levels of strength. Depending on your needs, you can cycle between all of them. And also you have 3 different temperatures that you can also cycle between. So you have a more neutral type of light, a colder light, and then a warmer light. So 3 different levels with 3 different colors, and that is insane. One more thing I actually forgot to mention is the gimbal lock mechanism that you have here, which is semi-magnetic and just snaps on the gimbal here. It's so easy to put and then to remove. It's the same way. It's super easy and compact. It eliminates the need for that gimbal cover that we had on the Osmo Pocket 3, the whole case that you had to use. Now this is a lot more portable. Now that you know about everything that comes in the kit with the Osmo Pocket 4, let's take a closer look at the design of the Pocket 4 itself. Physically, it's very similar to the Pocket 3. We have the same concept, same always with you type of camera, and it's slightly larger and slightly heavier, but let me tell you, you won't really notice the difference. What changes the experience quite a bit though is the control layout. You now get a proper joystick, and it's not just a gimmick, it's pressure sensitive, so the more you push it, the faster the gimbal moves. So this definitely feels a lot more precise than the Pocket 3. Also, we have 2 new added physical buttons here right under the screen. We have a zoom button and a custom button which you can assign for various different features. Now let's talk about image quality and color, because this is where most of the real improvement is. You still get a 1-inch sensor, but now paired with up to 14 stops of dynamic range. And it really makes a difference in those high contrast scenes like shooting sunsets or bright skies or backlit subjects. This is where the Pocket 4 holds onto highlights a little bit better, while also showing a lot more detail in the shadows. And then we have 10-bit DLOG, not DLOG-M, DLOG. And this makes a huge difference because DJI is pushing this towards the more professional products that they have from their lineup, because only the Mavic 4 Pro has DLOG from their drones lineup. And now the Pocket 4 is also equipped with DLOG instead of DLOG-M. Now this is comparable to S-Log 3 on Sony cameras, to DLOG on the Mavic 4 Pro, and you can really mix and match all of these cameras perfectly if you color grade properly, you can really match those cameras perfectly in your setup. So if you're one of those people who relies on color grading your footage and you want to extract the most out of this camera, DLOG is going to do that for you. Because of the 10-bit DLOG workflow, we have smoother gradients, less bending, and significantly more room for color grading. I'm very happy to report that super great, my LUT pack has been optimized for DLOG footage and it actually works the best for DLOG footage. So if you want to quickly transform your DLOG footage from flat and boring into a visually vibrant and sharp and great looking footage, then you might want to check it out. It will be linked down in the description. Another thing that makes me believe DJI is pushing towards a more professional position for the Osmo Pocket 4 is the fact that the white balance can also be customized in terms of the tint. So not only the white balance itself in terms of kelvins, but also the tint, which is exactly the same thing that we have on the Mavic 4 Pro. So you have a lot more control over how your image is going to look like. And that leaves me to believe DJI is hoping to attract many professionals who would like to use this in their arsenal. However, if you don't want to color grade and deal with DLOG, you have 10-bit normal color profile as well. And now DJI has also introduced film tones on the Osmo Pocket 4. Recently, they released that on the Osmo Nano, so now it's trickling down to the Osmo Pocket 4 as well, and we have a couple of different film tones that you can easily apply and change the strength of these color profiles if you want to get a straight out of camera footage that looks great no matter what, depending on your taste and the shooting scenario. So you have a couple of different presets that are looking super nice in my opinion, but make sure to not overdo them. Don't use them at 100%. I think they're a little bit too strong, so make sure you play with the intensity a little bit and focus on what works best for you. So here I am in a pitch black room using low light mode on the Osmo Pocket 4. Now the maximum ISO that the camera uses is 25,000 something. So I assume this footage is quite grainy. I will not touch it. I will show it to you straight from the SD card. But now let's turn on the light. This is the built-in light. And obviously things look a hell of a lot different when we turn on this built-in light. Keep in mind, this light is set to the medium strength. I don't like the maximum strength, as I believe is a little bit too harsh on the face. At the same time, this is what we are getting out of the Osmo Pocket 3 in low light mode, where the maximum ISO is 16,000, which I assume we are currently at. Obviously, we don't have any additional lighting, so this is what we are dealing with. So the results are quite drastic, of course. So here is a realistic scenario. You're trying to vlog at night, and as you can see, it's kind of dark, but we have some street lighting, which to an extent works fine. So this is the Osmo Pocket 3, this is the Osmo Pocket 4, and now let me put on the light. And things get quite ridiculous in a matter of a second. Now low light performance on the Osmo Pocket 4 is amazing. Not only because of that additional light that you can put on top of the Pocket 4, but also the automatic low light enhancement mode, which works when shooting in 4K 30 frames per second, and combined with the improved dynamic range, you get a much more cleaner shadows and better highlight control. One of the biggest upgrades we have on the Osmo Pocket 4, and one of the things that I'm super excited about, is 4K 240 frames per second slow-mo on the Osmo Pocket 4. Yes, you heard it right, 4K 240 frames per second. This is cinema level of slowing down your footage so much, and it just works incredibly well. For comparison, the Pocket 3 topped out at 4K 120 frames per second, which was already solid, but this is just another level. This is especially useful for action shots, movement-heavy B-roll, and cinematic sequences where timing matters a lot. And because it's still stabilized from the gimbal of the Pocket 4, you end up with footage that is actually usable and smooth straight out of the camera. I recently started going out for runs, so I'm really curious how the Osmo Pocket 4 will perform in those scenarios where we have a lot of shakes. So let's check it out, see how it will do. I think what makes the biggest difference that we have an actual gimbal that stabilizes the footage instead of the digital stabilization that we have on action cameras. So in theory, this should be working much better than any other action camera. Although I wouldn't really recommend running with the Osmo Pocket 4 as it's not really that comfortable to hold. Now, we also have a 2x zoom, which you can use during recording. And this is one of those things that really changes how you shoot. This zoom feature now works across all different modes like tracking, using DLOG, and even photos. And especially with the built-in zoom button, you can cycle between 1x and 2x easily with the press of a button, or if you want to make a smooth transition between 1x and 2x, you can use the joystick to zoom in and out. And because it integrates with tracking, you can actually create more compressed and cinematic shots, especially for portraits or subject-focused videos. That works great. Now we also have a few creative modes on the Osmo Pocket 4, and this is where DJI is clearly trying to push this beyond just the vlogging camera. We now have slow shutter video, which allows you to introduce motion blur directly in camera without any post-processing. So instead of everything looking super sharp and digital, you can create that more cinematic motion feel, especially useful for night scenes in my opinion, or traffic, or stylized B-roll even. Then you also get improved portrait tools, such as beauty filter and skin smoothing and stuff like that. Things that we as men probably won't use, but it's good for the women out there who want to not have to deal with any editing and want that beauty effect applied to them. You can do that easily with the Osmo Pocket 4, and that's great to have, I guess. Again, compared to the Osmo Pocket 3, this is just one more built-in tool that just saves you time, so you don't have to deal with additional editing or any other plugins later in post. Now, tracking is one of the main reasons people buy this camera in the first place. And here we have an improved tracking mechanism called ActiveTrack 7. And this one promises to be more stable and more reliable, especially in difficult situations like subjects moving quickly, people walking in and out of frame, or busy environments. It also supports tracking at higher zoom levels, which wasn't possible on the Osmo Pocket 3. Next, we have audio. And this is also another big step forward in my opinion. We now have 4-channel audio recording, which means that we can record 2 wireless microphones, ambient sound, and internal microphone audio all separately on different tracks. So for interviews, podcasts, or just more complex situations, this is a massive upgrade over the Pocket 3. One thing that I'm super happy to see on the Pocket 4 is that we have built-in storage. Yes, we do have an SD card slot here, but I haven't even put an SD card on my Pocket 4 ever since I got it. So now I rely only on the built-in 107 GB internal storage, which is great to have. Also, a few more things about the user experience is that the transfer speeds are up to 800 megabytes per second, which is great to have if you're transferring a lot of data. And finally, the charging speeds. I'm not exactly sure how fast they are, but this thing charges insanely quick. So it is probably the best charging experience I've seen on any product. It just goes through the battery and fills it up super quickly. So compared to the Osmo Pocket 3, should you upgrade? Well, here is the deal. The Pocket 3 is still a fantastic camera. If you already own it and you're just casually shooting with it, you're fine. But the Pocket 4 feels like it removes friction. It has better dynamic range, better low light, more flexible shooting, better accessories, better audio, and faster workflow. None of these alone might convince you, but together they make the camera feel way more complete. For me, this actually feels like the first pocket camera that can go beyond just the vlogging camera and can now actually be mixed with my drone footage, with my Sony footage, and with the rest of my workflow, to not be a constraint, but to be an addition. I'm curious what you think though. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I'm going to link the Osmo Pocket 4 below if you want to check it out. Buy one for yourself. This will help me out tremendously to continue making videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one very soon. Ciao.